7 rappers that were underestimated. A frequent theme in rap music is finding success despite having no believers. Underground artists write bars about breaking through the power of their hard work, and mainstream rappers reflect on how their hustle got them to where they are, even when the haters didn't think they would ever make it. In a way, it seems like every rapper thinks they either were or are underestimated. But that's not really true. There are lots of artists that are clearly set for stardom from the very beginning. They just seem to have that indefinable quality that equates to success in the music industry. The media often has a good sense of which rappers are going to blow up just based off of that. That's why you can go back to past articles from publications like Complex and find accurate predictions on the future of hip-hop. With that said though, there are also plenty of times that the media, as well as casual rap fans, get it wrong. There are countless rappers that were written off, doubted, or even laughed at the beginnings of their careers only to prove everyone wrong. Some artists have really proved that you can make it even when no one else believes in you. Before we start the video though, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel. Now, here are 7 rappers that were underestimated. Number 7, Tyga. Tyga's story has been one filled with lots of ups and downs. There are actually multiple eras where he has been underestimated, with the first period coming at the very beginning of his career. He released his debut mixtape back in 2007, and at the time, pretty much no one thought that he would ever amount to much. Things started to look much brighter for Tyga once he got signed to Young Money, but he was far from the label's most exciting prospect at that time. Most people were introduced to him through Bedrock, a showcase of the label's roster, but he was outshined by growing stars like Drake and Nicki Minaj. The general consensus at the time was that he was in the lower tier of Young Money rappers alongside the likes of Gudda Gudda and Jay Mills. But a few years later, out of nowhere, Tyga shocked everyone by dropping Rack City, hitting the top 10 on the Billboard. No one thought he had that kind of hit-making power. And then things went quiet. Tyga was written off as a one-hit wonder, and he once again fell into obscurity. But Tyga seems to love to prove the haters wrong. After 3 years of radio silence, Tyga returned with Taste in 2018. A song that once again broke into the top 10. After that, it was clear that Tyga was officially back, and he began a run of popular songs and features. After multiple years of underestimation, it would be wrong to doubt Tyga now. Number 6, Meek Mill. Some rappers have a pretty slow rise to the top, with multiple mixtapes and albums being released before actually finding a foot in the mainstream. Meek Mill could be considered as part of this category. He spent years in an unknown rap group before starting a solo career, and even that was a slow start. By the time he got a nod from the XXL freshman list, he had been rapping for nearly a decade. Of course, things changed quickly when he dropped his debut album, Dreams and Nightmares, which became incredibly popular. After that, he remained near the upper echelon of the rap world for some time. So when exactly was Meek Mill underestimated? Well, it has a lot to do with his feud with Drake. After spending time at the top, things looked dicey for Meek after the Drake beef. Despite Meek's disses about Drake's ghostwriting being proven factual, Drake ended up with the upper hand with diss songs that became much more popular. This combined with his failing relationship with Nicki Minaj and a stint in prison made everyone think that his career was over. However, Meek Mill managed to come back even stronger. After all of that, he released Championships in 2018 that ended up being his most popular album, with his highest charting song. The drama that occurred after his Drake beef was hard to overcome, but he certainly beat the odds. Number 5, Lil Durk. In the music industry, getting signed to a major record label is a pretty big deal, but getting dropped from a label is an even bigger deal. When Lil Durk was dropped from Def Jam, his label of 5 years, most people thought his career was done for, and you can't really blame them. Jumping back from a career setback like that is nearly impossible, and there are plenty of artists whose careers were completely derailed after being left in the dust by a record label. But if you've been paying any attention, you've probably noticed that Lil Durk's career hasn't gone downhill after 2018, the year after he was dropped from Def Jam. In fact, looking at his chart performance tells a very interesting story. Before 2018, his highest charting song, including features, was My Beyonce, featuring Dej Loaf. It didn't crack the top 100, but it did go to 21 on the US rap chart. Since 2018, Durk has had 11 songs at the top 100, a feature he never accomplished even with Def Jam's help. His highest charting album with Def Jam was at number 14. His most recent record went to number 1. In case you need more convincing that he was underestimated after leaving Def Jam, consider this. He had the most songs on the Billboard charts in 2021 out of any artist. But beyond his chart performance, Durk has just become one of the biggest celebrities in rap and a clear leader of modern trap. His story really demonstrates that you don't need a major label to make hits and dominate the game. Number 4, Lil Nas X. When Lil Nas X first released Old Town Road, most people were confused. The mixture of rap and country music wasn't exactly new. Even Lil Uzi had tried it out on Like a Farmer. But hearing an unknown rapper come out of nowhere and embrace another genre like that was pretty wild. And listeners only got more confused when the song started getting more and more popular. And then it broke Billboard chart records for the longest time at number 1. It was unexpected, but it was also clear how the story was going to end. Lil Nas hit it big with a novelty rap song and then would fade back into obscurity to become a one-hit wonder. This theory only seemed more convincing as Lil Nas started to roll out the 4 official remixes of Old Town Road. It looked like he was milking his one chance at fame. Despite the entire world expecting Old Town Road to be his only hit, Lil Nas X actually managed to keep the momentum going. Panini, which peaked at number 5 on the Billboard, came just a few months later. And multiple huge songs since then have cemented Lil Nas X as one of the biggest celebrities in rap music right now. He has also weathered a few different controversies, like his beef with Boosie, that have proven that he has what it takes to stay at the top. Number 3, Eminem. Eminem is undoubtedly one of the most talented and influential rappers to ever do it. Regardless of how you feel about his current output, you can't deny that his highly lyrical approach to hip-hop really changed how people think about the genre. But he also impacted rap in another very significant way. He opened the door to other white rappers to find success. When M's career first started, he was immediately written off because of the way he looked. There were no great white rappers at the time, so everyone just assumed he would be no good, including the rappers that attended the cyphers, where he first made a name for himself. Bizarre, one of Eminem's close friends at the time, remembers his early rap battles being like a white man can't jump situation. However, his skills definitely silenced his doubters. In Bizarre's words, quote, "After the first 10 bars, they'd start changing their minds." Once he began to be accepted in the hip-hop underground, it was the mainstream that started underestimating him. The shocking and sometimes offensive bars cast in an unconventional approach caused many to think that the rapper would never achieve wide success. But as the accolades started to roll in, everyone had to accept that they were wrong about Slim Shady. Elliot Wilson, one of the previous editors-in-chief for XXL, summed up Eminem's rise to fame well. Quote, "We never thought a white MC could be that skillful and a superstar. He knocked all those doors down. Now the world doesn't even look at Mac Miller in the context of, oh, he's a white rapper." Unquote. Number 2, Young Thug. Why does modern rap sound the way it does? Because of Young Thug. That's a bit of a simplification, of course. We can't ignore the influence of artists like Kanye West, Drake, and Travis Scott. But Thug, perhaps more than any other modern artist, has sculpted the shape of the genre we all love. The most amazing part of that is that no one ever imagined that Young Thug would become rap's biggest influencer. In fact, he was originally a laughingstock. When Thug first burst onto the scene, he was known for his off-kilter fashion sense, unintelligible delivery, and lyrics that often verged into the nonsensical. Even one of his biggest early hits, Lifestyle, was partly famous for the novelty factor of his indecipherable chorus. By the time his album Jeffrey was released, it was clear that he had hit upon some kind of winning formula. But people were still laughing. The dress on the album cover and his increasingly experimental vocal delivery had rap fans confused and incredibly intrigued. But those early days of Thug's career proved successful. He gained a few hits, and now it's not uncommon to find rappers copying even the latest traditional flow and voices of Thug. At this point, Thug's music has mostly calmed down as he goes for a more commercial approach, and it's working. His music appeals to nearly everyone, and hardly anyone treats him as a laughingstock. When everyone else was underestimating Young Thug, he was working on innovating, and the success of his proteges have since proven that he was incredibly ahead of his time. Number 1, Drake. It's funny to think that there was once a time when Drake wasn't one of the biggest artists in the world. His chart performance is literally record-setting. All of his albums have gone to number 1. At the time of making this video, he's the 10th most popular artist on Spotify, and that's out of everyone in the entire world. But I wouldn't blame you if you underestimated Drake back before he hit it big. In fact, almost everyone did. There were few signs that pointed to Drake becoming a major star in the rap world, and there was a lot going against him. First of all, Drake didn't have the kind of reputation that worked well in rap. He grew up in the middle class, and enjoyed some early success as an actor on Degrassi, a Canadian teen drama. Second of all, Drake's approach to rap was highly unconventional at the time. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, most hip-hop artists were still employing the tough guy persona. Drake, on the other hand, was singing about girls and heartbreak. Yes, that's right. He was singing. Very few rappers sang at the time, and even less did it successfully. Drake really went against the mold in rap at the start of his career, and because of it, very few people could see a real future for him in the music industry. Luckily, Lil Wayne believed in him, and the rest is rap history.